This is the wheel for my Muller. It's only 2 inches wide, which I never really liked about it. It would be nice if it was wider. One thing I've never shown you guys is that it came with a bearing like this, which quickly clogged up with sand and clay. So what I've done is I found these in my old lawnmower, and they fit perfect. And they've been running without any trouble at all. I always thought it would be nice to get another one of these wheels one day and double them up. I finally got another gift certificate, so I bought another one of these wheels. And interestingly enough, instead of these washers, it came with these. And it very well may be that I could have used the new wheel as is without having to replace the bearings because of that. However, I do have another wheel off that old lawnmower. Anyhow, so I got this new wheel. Ta-da! Not the nicest casting. Problem is, this part sticks out a little bit past. So what you get is, you put the wheels together, you get this gap. That's going to get all jammed up with sand. Well, who cares? It's sand, right? Sorry about my pinky there. But I thought about it, and I was able, using the edges of this wheel as a guide, get my hacksaw in there and cut it off just about flush. Well, I think if I could do that with the other wheel too, I'll leave these on the outside, then I can get them butted up right up against each other. Only have to use 2 of these. Oh, this is the little slice I took off. Can you believe that? I did that with a hacksaw. Anyway, I can just use 2 of these bearings, one on the outside of each one. Hopefully they'll be sandwiched together tight enough that I won't need to use the 2 bearings in the middle, and I can save those for later in case these ones ever do get fouled up. So that way I hope to get a nice wheel that's where the 2 halves are touching all the way around, so I don't have to worry about sand filling up in there. Not that it's really anything to worry about, but well, it's less sand escaping the crushing and rolling action of the wheels. Also, when the motor's spinning around, a wheel that's twice as thick, I mean, if you think about it, the inside of the wheel is going to be crossed every time the drum turns around. The inside, if this is the inside side of the wheel is rolling over less sand than the outside of the wheel. But because these are attached to each other, it's actually going to be effectively one big piece. That means that, maybe right in the middle it's rolling straight over the sand, but everywhere else, the farther out you go, the more it's actually skidding over the sand. And I'm of the opinion that can only improve the mulling action. The whole point of the wheel is not just to crush up the lumps, but to force the grains of sand and the clay to rub against each other and wind up coating every grain of sand in clay. That's how you get the bond that helps the sand stick together so that you can make molds with it. So a wider wheel will give more skidding, spinning action. Anyway, that's the plan. I'm going to cut one of these slices off the other wheel. If they still don't fit flush against each other, I'll grind down the end of the hub a little bit, and if I have to, I'll drill some bolts through both webs and bolt them together. Maybe I won't have to. We'll see. Well, I got it off. Here's the second one. So a little thicker than the first one, but even thickness throughout it. Good. Okay, two things. I don't know if you can see it, but this new wheel is just a little smidge narrower than the other one. And what I've chosen to do about this is not care. And two, I'm going to have to grind down these surfaces a little better so that it'll be contacting each other all along there. Alright, ground them down. Let's see how they fit. Yeah, it's not rubbing in the middle at all anymore. So it's just barely not touching, or maybe just barely touching, but not enough to. I feel like they're pretty much concentric at this point. You can see how it does stick out a little bit more on one side, but that's going to be a nice 4-inch wide wheel for me. But first I have to build up the assembly of the wheel that holds the wheel to actually be able to hold the wheel this wide. I'm going to have to modify this thing. It's actually this one, because obviously not going to happen. Got it narrowed down so that I've got the gap pretty much consistent all the way around this wheel. Well, I've got the two wheels bolted together as concentric as I can get them through the center there with that washer and that long bolt. So I think that'll hold it strong enough that I can drill 3 or 4 holes through both wheels to bolt them together. So this is where the wheel goes now. And I want the wheel to go like this, like on this side. So obviously this side is in the wrong place. So I'm going to take it off and cut it down here. I think this bolt and the one down here will be fine to support this. That way I'll have all this metal left over that I can move over as much as I need to and still have enough meat left to bolt it in on this side. Maybe even using these same holes so that this section will all be pushed out far enough to hold on to this side here. Alright, got it all put together. The wheel is bolted together in 3 places. They're not moving at all. Got them all hooked up. Nothing else had to change. I just had to cut this piece in 2. I had to drill this hole, this hole, this hole, this hole, and this hole, and borrow these 2 bolts from another project. That was really pretty easy though. It rolls nicely. My old scraper is just wide enough. Unfortunately, I had it a little bit, maybe 1/8 of an inch to the right would have been better. Still, it's going to keep the wheels nice and clean. Yeah, all I got to do now is just attach it back onto the Muller with these 4 bolts here, and it's good to go. I've got all the sand from the last mold I poured that's been drying out in my bench for weeks now. That's about half a 5-gallon bucket. If you don't break the sand up or anything, just dump it in there. So that's what I'm going to feed into the Muller. It's about how much I usually give it. Seems like a good amount to be giving it at any given time. 1 mold's worth. So we'll see how it does with the double width wheel. chunks and all. Recognize the bottle opener? Yeah, I really haven't made a sand mold since then. I don't know what's going on. Wait all year until summer so I can do this stuff. I got caught up in other projects. Alright, here we go. It takes a little while to get the big clump, and I helped it a little, but it would have got them eventually, I'm sure. Maybe a little narrow in there. I don't know if you can. Pretty much all smoothed in now. Now I'm going to put it Well, there's still plenty in there, but it's not going anywhere. I'll just hang out in the bucket. Well, after I cover it up, it'll still be there next time. Meanwhile, this stuff's all ready to use. Second wheel works amazing. Like I can actually feel the sand got warm. I don't know if it was just from the friction or what, but I mean I had it in there for a little longer than I probably needed to. Still, it works really well. The upgrade is a success.